Cristero War, or Cristero Rebellion of 1926 to 1929. Most people would not know of this. But in the country of Mexico, it's called La Cristidad, which was a widespread struggle in many Mexican states against the rule of a secularist, atheist, anti Catholic, anti clergy Mexican government. Based in central West Mexico, the rebellion was set off by the enforcement of anti clerical articles of the Mexican Constitution of 1917 by Mexican President Plutarco Elias Calles, also known as the Calles Law, in order to eliminate the power of the Catholic Church as well as organizations affiliated with the Catholic Church as an institution, but also to suppress popular religious celebrations in local communities. The massive popular rural uprising was tactically supported by the hierarchy of the Catholic Church and was aided by urban Catholic support. With diplomatic negotiations brokered by the U.S. Ambassador of Mexico, Dwight W. Morrow, between the Calles government and the Catholic Church, the church withdrew its support from the Cristero fighters. The violence that the conflict came to be, which ended in 1929. It can be seen as a major event in the struggle between church and state, dating back to the 19th century with the Reform War, but it can also be interpreted as the last major peasant uprising in Mexico following the end of the military phase of the Mexican Revolution of 1920. Now, at this point, Mexico had become a atheist state. Most atheists would not know this and probably refuse to believe it because they did rule with an iron fist. In June 14th, 1926, President Calles enacted anti clerical legislation, formerly known as the Law Reforming the Penal Code of and unofficially as the Calles Law. His anti Catholic actions included outlawing religious orders, depriving the church of property rights, depriving the clergy of civil liberties, including their right to a trial by jury in cases involving anti-clerical laws, and the right to vote. Catholic antipathy towards Calles was enhanced because of his vocal atheism. He was also a Freemason, of course. Regarding this period, Presidente Fred Vicente Fox stated that, and I quote, after 1917, Mexico was led by anti-Catholic Freemasons, who tried to evoke the anti-clerical spirit on popular indigenous President Benito Juarez of the 1880s. But the military dictators of the 1920s were even more savage lot than Juarez. Due to the strict enforcement of anti-clerical laws, people in strongly Catholic areas, especially in the states of Jalisco, Zacatecas, Guanajuato, Colima, and Michoacan, began to oppose him. And this opposition led to the Cristero War from 1926 to 1929, which was characterized by brutal atrocities. Some Cristeros applied terrorist tactics, while the Mexican government persecuted the clergy, killing suspected Cristeros and supporters, and often retaliating against innocent individuals. On May 28, 1926, Calles was awarded a Medal of Merit from the head of Mexico's Scottish Rite of Freemasonry for his actions against the Catholics. A truce was negotiated with the assistance of U.S. Ambassador Dwight Whitney Morrow. Calles, however, did not abide by the terms of the truce, and in violation of the terms, he had approximately 500 Cristero leaders, 5,000 other Cristeros shot, frequently in their homes in front of their spouses and children. Particularly offensive to Catholics after the supposed truce was Calles' insistence on a complete state monopoly on education, suppressing all Catholic education and introducing socialist education in its place. He said, and I quote, "We must enter and take possession of the mind of the childhood." and the mind of the youth. The persecution continued as Calles maintained control under his maximato and did not relent until 1940, when President Manuel Avila Camacho, a believing Catholic, took office. This attempt to indoctrinate the youth in atheism was begun in 1934 by amending Article 3 of the Mexican Constitution to eradicate religion by mandating socialist education, which, in addition to removing all religious doctrine, would combat fanaticism and prejudices. Building on in a youth a rational and exact concept of the universe and of social life. In 1946, his socialist education was removed from the Constitution, and the document returned to the less egregious, generalized secular education. The effects on the war on of the world, oh, no, sorry, of the war on the church were profound. Between 1926 and 1934, at least 40 priests were killed, where there were 4,500 priests operating within the country before the rebellion. In 1934, there was only 334 priests licensed by the government to serve a total of 15 million people, the rest having been eliminated by immigration, expulsion, and assassination. By 1935, 17 states of the Mexican nation had no priest at all.